You know, we make funny jokes of Portuguese people because they had this massive country in their hands and they just
What do
fucked
Portuguese
it up.
people even look like? I wouldn't even know.
They're very Latin as well.
Yeah.
They're very
Yeah.
Spanish,
Right.
grounded, kind of based.
What happened to
as well.
Portugal? No one talks about Portugal anymore.
biggest empire back in the day. There was the French, the English, and the Portuguese.
Nothing has happened in Portugal,
Yeah.
right?
And then they
Nothing.
went around
They're
No
still
terrorist
pretty
stuff.
sexy,
No. What's the capital of Portugal?
Lisbon.
Lisbon.
Nothing.
Lisboa. Yeah.
Good-looking women? I don't know.
Yeah, beautiful.
They
Really?
are.
I'm going to
They're
Google it
all-
right now.
The men too. The men are gorgeous
Yeah,
too.
they're all very
All
nice people.
Hispanic.
I picture
They
the men
speak
to have
Spanish.
hairy asses.
They speak funny Portuguese, but they're nice people, man.
Okay, Lisbon hairy asses. Here we go. Google search. I'm going to teach you, Rika. Here we go. Lisbon
Thank you, Drew.
hairy. Come on, Google. Don't let me down.
Yeah. What is everyone?
Where are we? That wasn't me farting, by the way. I know you know.
Oh, we were hoping he was.
You would smell it first.
Woody. Oh, here we go. Lisbon hairy ass. Oh, Google just doesn't do it.
Why do you just put Lisbon, man, and you put Lisbon women? Isn't it better than hairy asses?
Hey,
No.
I'm not sexually prejudiced like you. Okay? There you go. Rika's perfect type.
He is pretty
Anyway, have you
sexy.
had a good time tonight?
I did have. Thank you very much for having me here. Legacy BJJ, Gold Coast, come see us. 55 Currumbin Creek Road. Should I do it in advertising? Well, it's done.
Why not? I know that you've been in multiple gyms.
Yeah.
You find yourself on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
It's only been 8 months,
Yeah.
and for me, I'm a Brisbane guy. Moved to Sydney, lived there for 5 years. Loved Sydney. Came back to the Gold Coast. It kind of took me 4 years to get some to really love it. Even though it was such a culture shock. It's like a big country town here.
Yeah.
You know, you like far out. Everything from the clothes people were wearing.
Absolutely.
And it took me a little while. So sometimes I look at you in the gym. I look. I hope you aren't struggling here. I hope you. Doing
This
okay.
is the thing. I've grown up in a very big city. Yeah, 15 million people, big city. Had enough of that, and I moved down south to Brazil for 500,000 people city, big island, 42 different beaches, paradise. One day, I decided to had a chance to come to Australia, and I came, and I went to Sydney. Sydney was, I moved to the northern beaches in Sydney. It was a small town back then, back in 1996 when I moved there. And it was amazing, and it was really good. And then Sydney, grew up, developed, into what it is today. And then I moved here, and I can see the differences, they're very clear for me. I can see that, you walk into a mall and you see people wearing no shoes, no shirt, but he wears a beanie. You know what I mean? And you walk in everywhere, and everyone's pretty raw. Everyone's pretty simple, but when you already appreciated both sides of the coin, you've seen everything the way I have, and I'm pretty lucky to have done that. When I chose this thing, it was like, oh, let's just go there. I had a son living here, and I was very lucky to end up where I am today in the eco village in Currumbin Valley. And that scaling down to what the Gold Coast is today has done so much good for me, because that's what I was looking for. You know what I mean? I was really looking for to have a business close to where I live, to have time to spend with my family, to have time to spend with friends, to choose to have real friends. Big cities give you a lot of, you get to know, especially in the business I am, you get to know a lot of people. But who are really your friends from all of those people? A lot of people just pretend to be your friends because of interest or what. And here you get to spend more time with people, so you get to to know people better, and you pick your friends. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I like about when you live a quieter life, because you connect with people deeper. You know what I mean? And for me, man, I'm 51. I'm not looking to go out clubbing. I'm not looking to, I'm looking to have good relationships, to build a business and something that I love, and most importantly, give a good life to my kid, to my daughter. You know what I mean? And she was living, half of her life inside a car, scrolling into, iPhones, because how do you entertain a 1-year-old child in a car when she has to spend an hour and a half in a car? You have no other option as a parent. You know what I mean? When she's here now and she plays half of the time outdoors with kids and with kangaroos and chickens, and you know what I mean?
Awesome,
so that in itself says it all, you know what I mean? And there's no looking back. I don't miss Sydney at all. I went to Sydney last week for a day. I was a day with my friends going out, pub, drinking, and by the morning I was like, I just want to go back home. You know what I mean? I just want to go back home.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So
That's nice.
Be proud of what you guys got here, because I know if you haven't lived the other side, you might not enjoy this side as much. But for me to have lived both sides, this is the side I want to be.
That's good.
I think we know that we're blessed, though. I feel blessed living here.
You should feel,
It's whenever you go on holidays and you go, oh man, the water's better back home.
Oh, yeah.
Or this is better back home all the time.
You know, man, one thing that you don't know about me, I used to be a customs officer in Sydney. Yeah? I used to work for customs at the customs airport. I did that for 5-6 years or something.
Wow, really?
Yes. And I used to work, point of entry when you come, stamp your passport, look at you. And there was a classic phrase that we used to hear from Aussies when they used to come to Sydney back. Oh, thank God I'm home. We are a very privileged country in the world.
Absolutely.
There's no other country that are so sheltered from bad things, sometimes from good things as well, but sheltered, We get to choose how we want to, write our future. Sometimes we do this wrong, we copy bad mistakes from our countries for different countries that have already been there. But most of the time we tend to do it right, And Australia and New Zealand as well, we have this privilege of being, so hidden from the world that we have, we fall.
Not as much influence.
Yes, and then we will still have the chance to make it right if you want to. So we see people doing their mistakes and go, all right, so when that happens here, we should take a different direction. Sometimes we don't, but sometimes we do, and that's good, you know what I mean? And there's no other thing where would you be now? Would you want to be in America?
I can't think of anywhere.
Would you want to be in
I maybe
Europe?
want to go on holidays in Fiji for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
the
saying.
funny thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Would you want to live in Europe now, with all those tourists?
But there's people around the world that just want to get out of where they live.
And come here.
Hey, have you... Here's a funny one, because I race Speedway, and we'd get a lot of Americans coming over. They would get on to the idea of how often we would use the word wanker.
Yeah.
And what...
That's actually mean.
Yeah, but what it really it's a huge cultural thing
wanker,
to be. Yeah, you're a wanker, and how it would actually. It's a big thing.
Yeah,
it's bigger than the word. To be a wanker in Australia stops a lot of progress of things. Like we were talking, Aaron, before about putting on a good monster truck show, or having the greatest Jiu Jitsu gym.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do it and look like a wanker. Have you gotten on? You're not that in any way. Don't get me wrong. But did it ever come up to you in the 20 years that you've lived here on the term, what it means? And do you have a similar one in Brazil?
Yes, look, it came to me once when I was actually in the traffic. And I actually cut a guy off. And he went to me, "You're a fucking wanker." And then I stopped and I was like, "Wanker." Oh. So, I get it. So if you're doing too much of that, means you're not getting enough of that. So, all right, that's it. So you're replacing that for that.
Right.
That doesn't sound that bad,
I'm a wanker.
Yeah,
You're
I
a
can
wanker.
be a
We're all
wanker.
wankers.
I can be a wanker, all right? Don't worry. Yes, we don't have exactly the same terminology in Brazil because you wouldn't go around going, yeah, you're a wank in Brazil because people are like, what the fuck, man? You want to grab my dick or something, you know? So it doesn't really look. What would be the closest thing to a wanker?
Because in Brazilian, that macho,
yeah, exactly. So
machoism is kind of, we would say,
So we would
being
say-
a wanker.
So, say, yeah, you're an asshole or you're a.
Confident, like it's a real.
We got something saying seu viado.
Sou viado.
Seu viado.
Seu viado.
Which
No?
means you gay.
Okay.
Which in Brazil it's a bad,
Which is
bad thing.
right.
to-
It's being flamboyant,
yeah,
being
yeah.
a
You
show offy.
You viado. You just like to get fucked in the ass, pretty much.
Yeah, Rika.
How does that?
I don't know, but just seriously, all the questions you've been asking all night.
Talking into the mic.
Yeah, man, good fun.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
This is only the first time of many. And before you go, I want to show Rika and Aaron what happens to your knuckles after years and years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Not much, man. They're not that bad. Come on.
No, put them up this way, maybe.
They're not that bad.
Turn
man.
around this way.
Holy, they
Look
look
at
like arthritis. Is that arthritis?
Thanks. That's the best compliment I had to them. In
Oh,
a
really?
long-
My wife can't even put her ring on anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, look, mate.
What a
you know,
coincidence. No, you because you're constantly like
grabbing.
Yeah.
grabbing and
Yeah.
fighting for your life.
And
like,
it's just that the kimono, when it rips off, it creates these calluses.
Oh, I see,
thing,
yeah.
But it's just a twisting and breaking. I got like two. My pinkies are the little ones. They're broken and they move everywhere you want, you know. But you get, you know, there's one thing that Jiu-Jitsu
interesting.
teaches you. It's tolerance to pain.
or
Yeah.
constantly being sore.
You know, we got the saying in Jiu-Jitsu. So one day I woke up, you know, and woke up and I wasn't feeling anything. No shoulder pain, no neck pain,
Yeah.
no knee pains. My fingers were fine. I was dead.
No.
That's the only way the Jiu-Jitsu people can not feel anything.
Yeah.
Really?
The day you get
Always
up and you
training.
can't feel anything,
Yeah.
you're dead.
Always training, always fighting, really, and feeling sore.
Other than that,
It's a good way to live. It really is.
It is, man. You know, you get
Yeah.
used to it. So
Yeah.
you see, sometimes like I got sick now for the whole week, and I wasn't training. And I kid you not, I was lying down in bed and I was like sweating 6 t-shirts per night. Obviously, I was sick, but because my body wasn't doing that sweating that I'm used to every day, and it was just compensating. And even sometimes when I'm not sick, I just go home and I don't train for 2-3 days, whatever reason it is, and I start sleeping. And I know I already leave a t-shirt, 2 t-shirts next to my bed because I know I'm gonna sweat. You know what I mean? It's just how your body learns. You know, your body learns to get rid of toxins that way.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you know, say, I need to get rid of toxins, so I'll just sweat. You know what I mean? It's crazy like that, eh? Yeah. Good sport. You all
Great
should
sport.
try.
You know what?
I'll come have a look.
This podcast is brought to you by Koala Karma.
Koala Karma.
No. First of all, look up.
Have you had one of these? You should take one.
He hasn't.
Take it with you, Brody.
Where do we find you on?
Legacy BJJ, Gold Coast, Currumbin Waters, 55 Currumbin Creek Road, Currumbin Waters,
That's right.
Give us
Instagram, Facebook.
everything. Website,
I'm going to friend
www.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that.
And I'll say it now, but it's
I
not
like
the
it.
end. This podcast is brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill-out drink.
Chill-out.
Sit back, relax, feel that passion fruit extract enter your body. What I want to see now, as we end this podcast, is can you please show Aaron Brunner from Monster United?
Ultimate.
Jesus Christ.
Ultimate Monster Trucks.
I've only had 12 beers. Ultimate Monster Trucks. Please stand up and show him a really quick trick that might dazzle him. Gently, of course. You know, as I know you will, Fabio. Just something to show the power. It's a lot like, in my honest opinion, Aaron. It's a lot like the stuff the bouncers know. You know what I mean? There's
I wanna
someone